Hey, so this is something that I've wanted to do for a while. For a long time I've had journals, and I always use those to write down my thoughts and just keep like a free mind. Just like anything that comes to my mind that's bothering me, I'll write it down. Lists, I'll write it down. I used to have tons and tons and tons of moleskins. So the first thing to bear in mind is that this is for things that even you will probably not want to read again. Once you write in this way, what you've written is pretty much doomed to be lost forever. So basically anything that you want to write that's potentially going to end up shredding or like burning or whatever, you can still do that after, but in case, I don't know, you're worried about being caught writing. When I first started doing this, like literally the first day I did it, I was sat by a teacher and they were like, "Are you okay?" Like what I'd written just looked like utter madness. And I was like, no, actually, this is one of the best things I've ever done. I feel great because what I've written is very, 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 very private here, but it's right there in front of you, and I'm sure that you can't read it. And there was something very liberating about that, just knowing that I could write whatever I wanted to, whenever I wanted to, in a way that is both letting go, being very mindful and all of those things at the same time. And there wasn't really a name for this kind of writing, so I've kind of labeled it just now. I've come up with a name for it. I've called it Encrypted Handwriting. I used to love buying a moleskin, filling it up with all my thoughts, just everything. It was with me all the time, and I'd write everything in it. But what I found, because I've been living in Japan now for 4 years, and I've got to go back home soon, and all these moleskins are just like piling up. There's too much weight there, and although I love them, like part of the problem I've had is that I've always hung on to things. I've been a bit of a hoarder. So back home in England, I've got loads of notebooks and things that are just full of things that I've written, and they just pile up, and I've kept them in case I ever want to look back at them. And I've looked in them, I'm like, all this stuff is just so dated now. And anything that is important, I've usually made note of somewhere else, so I've really highlighted the hell out of it. And what I found, what I've done recently is I've gone through my old moleskin sketchbooks, or moleskin notebooks, and my sketchbooks actually, but my notebooks, and I've basically either copied out everything that was really important to me, that really stood out, or literally cut it out, and I've stuck them all in a new notebook, which is like a condensed down version. So I've basically gone from having 5 of those full of, mainly it was just me every day complaining, and I just write down every day when I'm just fed up of whatever it is. I'll just open the moleskin and I'll just start writing like, "Oh, guy, whatever, I'm fed up." And in the moment that feels really good, and I think it's really important to get that stuff out. But what I realized is that you never want to look back at that stuff. It's not inspiring. Yes, you needed to get it out at the time, but none of that's really useful, because everything just through the act of writing it, you're getting the thoughts out and you're processing that and thinking differently. And what I realized for me was that I look back at these old notes and there's nothing in there that I don't know already, because I remember the problems. And as I say, anything that is useful, I kind of cut out or copied out, and that stuff I've retained. I had a separate book or a separate piece of paper, and I'd write everything on that. And then I'd either shred it or whatever at the end of it. And I didn't like that, because I really wanted to have everything in one place. I was like, well, what's the point in having this moleskin that's meant to be my journal and talking about my, keeping me all in one place, when actually I'm writing half the stuff on this scrap paper that I'm shredding. Like, where's the line? And I didn't like that. So anyway, just through doing this, the situation was I was at a school, and I was around other teachers, and I really wanted just to write down what I was thinking in that moment. I didn't want to go away. And what I started doing was writing really small, because that's secret. My writing, I do cursive handwriting, and when it's really small, you can barely read it. But what I started doing was eliminating the space between the lines of writing, then basically compacting it down, instead of having like this, just crushing it down and having them overlap a bit, and I'll show you what that means. But you can't read it, And what I found I can do is just have all of my thoughts on one piece of paper. I'll show you an example of how you can just go from, writing notes about whatever, and when something really deep and personal comes along, you're like, crap, I need to write this in another bit of book. You don't have to, because, at least for me, if I start writing this in this particular way, which I'll show you, it's illegible. Like, I can't read it after. And the point is that I don't want to read it after. Going through all my moleskins and cutting out all the old crap from last time in the past that I was retaining because I thought I might need it, all the negative stuff, I don't want that anymore. It takes a bit of trust to think that I won't need this again. It's okay to let go of this stuff. When you're writing, it feels important as it's coming out, and it is important, and it's important that you write it out. But especially with the negative stuff, like, once it's written, you've processed it, and I think it's just the act of writing it in itself is, for me, it's the important part. I found that is the most therapeutic part. After it's out, as I said, looking at it, it doesn't bring anything new to me, usually, unless something in the moment when I'm writing it, I get like, oh, that's kind of important there. I'll make a note of that elsewhere, but in the general, like 95% of what I've written, there's nothing in it at all. So that's through writing in this way, it's letting go whilst you're writing it. It's almost like writing into thin air. And essentially, you feel the writing coming out, and even though you can't see it, you know what's coming out. And that, for me, I found is enough. Right, so I'll do an example. So this is an old notebook. And this isn't a moleskin, but I'll just show you. This is really useful because it's got lines on it, and I'll show you what I mean. So, for example, I'm going to write just something normal. What am I going to write? I don't know, I'll do a list. So today, things I've got to do today. Today I've got to, clean the shower. So I'm writing stuff out in the den. To clean the shower, practice guitar. And you can see that I've got a cursive handwriting, which I'm very proud of. Suddenly this thought strikes me, crap, something really personal. I'm not going to write anything personal, but let's say this was really personal. I've got beef with the shower, so I'm going to complain about the shower. Imagine this was about a person then, for example. So here we go. See if you can read this. God, I hate the shower. I really hate this shower. It's really annoying me. It's really annoying me. So, whatever, this might be about a person, it might be about a thought. It's really annoying me. I'm done with it. Okay, this is the stuff, so I'm done. So normally you go on to your next line, right? I'm done with it. But watch what happens if I do that again. I'm going to continue writing, so just watch this. So I'm going to start writing. Imagine this line here is in quarters. So we've got quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, quarter 4. So normally we write in these 2 quarters here, don't we? But start writing, imagine this is a new line here. So God, I hate the shower. And here we go. I really... I'm done with all... Here we go again. Of this crap. This awful shower. That really sucks. Whatever. So as you're writing it, you know what you're writing, you can see it, but like, look at this middle line here. I can't read that. Well, I think I can actually, so let's try another line. But basically, as these kind of build up, it just becomes this impenetrable wall of lines and squiggles that even you, when you're looking at it, you just give up. You can't even be bothered to try reading it. And that's the same for anyone else. No one's going to try reading it because it just looks impenetrable, especially if you've got really, personal handwriting. Like, I feel like mine's quite iconic, I guess, to me. And even I can't understand it when it's like this. So I'm going to do a little bit more and then we'll see what happens. So let's see if we can zoom in on this guy here. Like, if you really, 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 really wanted to, you could probably work it out. And to be honest, I've done this quite spaced out. It's probably a bit more open than I'd normally be writing. But as you can see, like, it's a real effort to try and read that. And that's the whole point. It really helps you let go of it. And as you've noticed, I've compacted so much more writing into such a small space. You can just go from, just some writing that you're doing, then continue on your way. And then what I actually do is, if I've got some of this in my moleskin, at the end of it, I'll just go through my moleskin again at a later date, and I'll be like, okay, I don't want any of this stuff. This stuff can be crossed out. And then I can just paste something over it, get a bit of glue, stick something that's more light and fun and appropriate or whatever, and then you can just reuse this. This becomes like coloured paper. And what you can also do, if you're really short on paper, is start off with a pale colour. So I've got this pen here with four different colours. I'm just going to squiggle. Imagine this is me writing something. La, 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 la. This is basically what my writing looks like anyway, so whatever. This is like green. And yeah, you can see through that. Let's use a red now. So you can actually see both, can't you? So you can just keep layering up the writing. Let's say you're really short on paper for some reason. That looks pretty cool, actually. And then go on to the next. You come back the next day, God, I need to use this paper again. I need to write some more stuff. I'll use my blue pen. It's a little darker. Great, and I can actually see the blue now. It doesn't matter about the red or the green because that's old information now. It's the blue. And then, of course, you can just end up with black after that. La, la, la. Actually, that's a little harder to see with the blue, but you get the idea. And that, apart from looking really cool, is actually very secretive. It's just a good space saver. It's private, and you don't have to run away to another book every time you want to write something private down. If you don't want to, you could really just start writing, physically writing quite small, and just do this thing where you just overlap. So for example, your alphabet, right? And then let's start the next part, but H, but from here. So W, X, Y, Z. And you can kind of work out what it says, actually. As you're writing it, you're aware of what you're writing, but if someone came along and tried reading that, it would take them a good while to figure it out, especially if it was really small. Another thing that's important is if you're starting on, if you're starting fresh, you can obviously see the top of this line. Half of it's exposed, which makes it really easy to read. What you can do is just write something random on top, like I sometimes do this, hello, hello. And then now you can start, so, hello. Today, I can't read that. And no one else will either, and that's it. I know it says like encrypted, and it's not like, you can just unlock the lock and then be able to see it again. It's like it's written in a way that cannot be read. And you could say you could just scribble it. Why don't we just scribble and just make a big block? You could do that too, but I feel like this way at least has some kind of uniformity, and there's a kind of beauty to it too. It's like, it's got a structure to it, and yeah, it's really, I find it very therapeutic to write this way, and getting all those lines to match up, and just it's really neat. And I just feel like for me it satisfies what I need to do. This I've called style 1, difficulty 1, encryption level 1. It's where we've layer. There's some lines of text here that have been mashed together like this. And this is level 1. Level 2 is this, plus we flipped it around, and this actually, this is actually pretty difficult to read, and you can't read what you're writing when you do it this way, because the writing is slanted at the same angle, because I write, as I said, I write with the slant this way, and when you flip it over, it's still slanted that way. So when you write it, it just becomes like, you know, what is that? So that's level 2. This is the bit of writing we did earlier. So as you can see, it's all kind of slanted to the right a little bit, because that's just how I write. I write to the right. Let's do another example. So now let's turn this around. Let's turn this around. So you wanted to make this stuff secret. So hello, my name's Tom. Like, wow, you've really lost whoever's writing that now. It's kind of completely, you know, it's a mess, which is great. Then we got this guy here. This is level 3. And as you might have guessed, what I've done, as I said, is I've done number 2, and then I've turned it this way. And obviously this is a very narrow, but imagine this was a whole block of text I've written this way, this way, this way, this way, this way, this way, this way. Okay, so let's try one more. So now I'm making, oh, you can read that bit, of course. Look at that. That's dense. That's like the gravity in that it's so dense. Like no one is going to read that. And yeah, there is a level 4. This is level 4 here. Look at that. So I've done all 4 ways. And this has gotten so dense that the paper has actually started to tear a bit. It's just been so bogged down with ink. Like, the paper's pretty good actually. But yeah, that is, you know, look at that. That's beautiful right there. That's art. But like, you know, if you're writing bigger, maybe, you know, I'm writing quite small here, so that's pretty intense. You're not going to need any more than that, but you could potentially do it this way as well. Level, what's that, level 5, level 6. So it's just this layering idea. So here is my current moleskin. You can see it's now really, really fat, because I'll show you in a minute. But everything that I did I had like five moleskins since being in Japan, like where I am now. And as I said, I'm about to go home. But yeah, there was just too much. And then I've come back. This is from April 16th. Today is May 27th. And so I went back through some of these old pages, and like this section here at the top, like I'm never going to need that again. That was my to-do list for the day. What we got? We got pizza, weigh stuff, tell school. And like, I don't know what that means anymore. So what I've done is I've crossed through that, and I know that that is prime real estate to stick stuff on. So what I did is I went through all the other moleskins that were full of all, you know, the random crap that I've been writing, all the complaints, everything. You know, there's just stuff like this, and I've just pasted it all in from my other books. Like some of these are from years and years and years ago. Well, maybe maximum 4 years ago. Okay, here's one. Sorry, some of this stuff's kind of private, so anyway, so you can see in the background there was some text there that was very, 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 very tightly written, and I was done with it. So I went through some very important things from my old journals, and I cut them out, stuck them in over the top here. And, you know, they're reminders of good things. When I open this up, I know, like, I'm not denying that there was negative stuff, but this is almost accepting that there was negative stuff, and then I've hopefully overcome it, and I've just stuck other stuff on top of it. This was once a page that was full of just crap. It was just full of me complaining. I needed to get it out, of course. But yeah, there it is. And I'm done with it. I'm never going to read it again. And it's not a waste of paper. It's a new canvas to stick some things on that are important. These are little quotes from other bits of book that actually I wanted to keep. They resonated with me, so I cut them out and I've stuck them in over the negative stuff. So the negative stuff, in a kind of a symbolic way, I guess, the positive stuff can then get pasted on top of the negative stuff. Instead of going through like a third of a moleskin, which is my pace, third of a moleskin in a couple of months, just writing everything, I've just used other little old notebooks that I needed to use up before I left, so little scraps of paper, and those have become like the workhorses, I guess. They're the scrappy bits that I just scribble on and, you know, I fill out however I want. And then I can either throw them away after, shred them, or I can cut out stuff or literally copy stuff out, put it in the good old book here. And yeah, I've got a record of all the stuff that actually matters and all the stuff that, I don't know if you've heard of Marie Kondo, but it's kind of like Marie Kondoing my thoughts and my ideas and just doing that. So I've got a collection of everything that is important. And that way I'll probably not have to buy so many moleskins, even though it is kind of addictive. Like this is a purple one here. I'll show you something on the back actually. These little patches here, they are almost like, I can't remember what culture it was, but it was like the shrunken heads, you know. They would take a little bit of what they'd conquered and then they'd kind of retain it. I think that's basically in a nutshell. But what these are little bits of the spine from all of my old, what are they called? The old moleskins that I sorted through, took everything. I went through, look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 whole moleskins, these guys. 7 of these since I've been here in 4 years. And you know, I've condensed it down into basically, you know, it's just kind of thick now, but from 7 whole books into that is that. And this is just a record, so I can remember, you know, I can remember all the beautiful coloured moleskins I bought, and I've learned from it. You know, I've done 4 years worth of learning and learning from myself and learning from experience, and this is my record of that. Every single one of those moleskins was absolutely covered in stickers. And again, I kind of Marie Kondoed my stickers, and I got rid of any stickers that didn't matter to me or didn't resonate with me, and I've just kept the ones that did and stuck them all on here. And I'll continue to do that. So just being mindful, really. You know, do I really want this? Does it spark joy, as she says? No. Then do I really want it? No. If it does, then yeah, definitely keep it. Anyway, I hope you learned something. For me, I've never seen this done before. Like, it just came to me through years and years and years of just writing and journaling, and the things that I needed to do were to write things privately, write things in, I wanted to keep them all in one place. I didn't like spreading all my thoughts around in different pieces of paper. It was hard to keep track of. And I don't know if it will work with, non-cursive, just normal. Some people don't write in cursive. I've always done that. I've learned that way. And I know that works for me because, you know, it's kind of curly and you can like make things really tight and you can layer stuff up really nicely. In block letters, I think that's how you say it. I don't know if it will work so well. I'm sure it will, because you're still layering stuff up. The only problem will be that they'll probably be straighter as opposed to kind of slanted and squiggly. So I don't know if it'll help, but I think the idea of just layering up the things that you want to get out and be okay with then getting rid of them, being okay with not being able to read them, because probably you won't want to read them, you won't need to read them because you'll have learned just by the act of doing it. That should be enough. Anyway, that's all. Bye.